Warning, this video may contain Kano 9 spoilers. Please watch at your own discretion. Hello everyone, welcome back. We, and I mean me and my good pal Frey over here, will be taking a look at your hot takes, and then we're gonna judge you harshly.
You see, it's new because we're not the same people we were when we first started this now. So much time has passed. We've grown, we've got better. Our takes have gotten hotter, and we've gotten smarter.
Ooh, arguably. Yes, this is also past Kanto 9. We are first week of February, just the date of this video. So it's been about, I want to say, more than 3 months since the last time we've done this. So a lot of people, you guys did so many suggestions. I tried to take as many as possible. I tried to do ones that had the most likes. I did ones that were recent. So I tried to do a bit of variety, all from the video. And I'm going to just say it out right now. If you guys want your takes read, comment in the video, hot takes, and give us your take. Speaking of, Frey, we have your take here, but we've decided to do alternative speaking, so I'll be doing your take here.
I wanted to make one that, unlike the past two, feels like something that came from my soul, more than just something that was hot in a vacuum.
Backseaters, whether they're meta or win raiders, should be roasted for their takes. Ignoring and appeasing them only goes so far, and it encourages a false duality on how Limbus and the PM games should be played. That was born out of fear of dropping Lobotomy Corp, and spun into an unhealthy, obsolete part of the culture. I mean, absolutely agree. I mean, also add leakers into that, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? Leakers are the same, although I feel like... This is going to sound bad, but I feel like they should have worse consequences.
Maybe.
I don't think we can give them ethically... I don't think we can ethically give them worse consequences.
No.
But
I can't say it on video, but I'll just say Indican Trial Rodion Awakening voice line. So there you go, you know?
Okay, so, like, I feel like I've had, over the past few months, my own little, funny metamorphosis on how I want to interact with both my own community and the ProjectMoon community at large. It's still developing, but this is the first unwrapping of it, let's say. At first, I used to think that backseating was just from people that are used to folks that don't know how to play the game and are looking for help, and really well-intentioned, or folks that just have gotten used to a certain kind of play. And sure, whatever, that's fine. You can, in some cases, you know, go along with them if you're actually looking for help. You can ignore them, or hey, you can even ban them. You can just, like, do it quietly. Then I learned that it's not just people that are good at the game that backseat.
Oh, okay.
Contrary to popular opinion, people might say things without knowing what they're talking about in chats and comments. Especially for folks like us that do challenges and legitimately don't want to do things optimally. Dude, you have no idea what kind of game I'm playing. You're here because you saw a lot of people or just had a thought and you could not hold yourself back from saying it. The difference between you and us is that people are asking us to do that. I ain't saying we're always right. I'm just saying that is how it is.
No, you're true.
But the only way this is going to change, and I do genuinely believe this started with the people not wanting to drop Lobotomy Corporation because it was initially well-intentioned to a degree and initially done out of a love for the depth of the game. There's no need for that anymore. Whether or not you're saying, hey, just win rate, it's that easy, or hey, you could do this better, it's that easy. People, we need to accept that there are so many different ways to play the game.
Correct.
And that optimization is just a stage play, and win rating is just a meme, and not reading is also obsolete. And I'm tired of pretending like we should treat these as normal.
Holy shit, yeah, this is
That's
relevant, especially with Kano 9. I want to say Kano 9 had probably the largest amount of backseating / like of this type of stuff ever. I never saw as much of it as in this Kano, especially the last one.
All right, let's see. Hot take. I think ProjectMoon should either never have done kit reveals or stop showing them earlier on. The image / video preview do enough to add suspense and hype, but the kit reveals tend to take that excitement and hype and make it into a volatile reaction due to how much information is not shown during them and can possibly breed higher expectation. It also fits with KJH's idea of wanting things to be more of a surprise. I would love to hear more, because I think the two of us, I'd say, knowledgeable experiences with kit reviews.
Yeah, me and you, we do the type of reviews where the ID isn't actually out yet. So we are going off pure theory, we are going off pure assumption, using references of in-game, and, you know, taking logical assignment guesses. These kit reviews, as much as I like seeing the kits come out and stuff come out, it kind of It turns the ID from, oh my god, we have a cool mirror world version of this, I can't wait to see what this does, to let's have a look at numbers. Let's look at replacing other ID. Let's look at like everything that isn't relevant to the actual thing. Like, yeah, of course, numbers are always, it's a game. You have to see what the numbers are. But it does, I feel like it turns people against each other, like wolves. And I'm not saying that's for the majority. I'm just saying that is like a mentality that feeds and then it feeds onto each other. And also personally for me, I like being surprised. I know this is a foreign concept nowadays because people like leaking and data mining and they want to know information. Dude, I swear to God, so many people come up to me in like live streams. They're like, "Hey, did you know? Like, oh, this got data mined," and then they're trying to explain to me. I go, "Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Don't talk to me about leaks and data mines, about the IDs. I don't want to fucking know about it. I like being surprised. I want to. No, I know. I want to have my expectations taken, and you know, I want to see the result of that. So I felt like hindsight 2020, if Limbus did it now, like if they restarted everything and redid it now, I feel like they should not show the kit. They show the teaser. I feel like the teaser is a good enough representation of the kit anyway. You know, you get sins. You're trying to sneak in a little bit of a status. You're trying to guess coins. It feels more interactive.
You know, you're right. You can see a bit of a status. I only learned about that like within the past month too, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun to just go into a teaser and you could see a lot more in there. You know, you can see like.
I think it is a valid take because if Limbus started this way, I probably wouldn't think twice about it.
Yes.
I do ultimately disagree, but that is mainly like I think it's more of a different strokes thing than anything.
Yeah, like obviously the biggest downside is it would put me and you out of the video, pretty much.
Well, hey, I can't deny it. I'm biased. I am legit biased because I both have financial and fun incentive.
I do like doing them. It's not like I don't like. I like the kits. I think the kits are great. I think they're fun. I have a lot of fun doing them. But I can see in the back of my head a place where like if these never existed, I think it would be healthier for the game.
I've come to really enjoy it for a similar reason why I really like digging into ProjectMoon lore,
Yeah.
which is all personal. This isn't to take away from your take at all.
No, I completely agree with you.
I think you're right about it.
I completely agree with you. I have fun doing it. I like going in. I like trying to guess things I like using information in game and then getting proven right in game. It's the same with like lore theories. You know, literally the exact same thing.
I think it's a good hot take, and I'm very curious to see what the comments say about the two takes we gave that are specific mostly to creators.
Pretty much. What are you guys? Tell us what you guys think below right now in the comments, and also like the video if you haven't already. All right, I'm gonna do that again.
Please lick the video.
Please lick the video and subscribe to both of us. And all right, well, how about now we go onto the actual hot takes that we have from the video now, shall we?
I'm ready. I'm rubbing my hands.
The first one is from someone that we know. Welveter! That's right, we have Welveter's beautiful hot take here from the last video. We have Welveter. Personal hot take. This might come as if it's coming from personal bias, but the word potential has been so incredibly overused after the She-Faust release. The word has lost all meaning and become a generic buzzword to throw around at anything that isn't considered mildly suboptimal. IDs are meant to be fun, not to be damage measuring competitions. I feel like this is relevant to... Agreed!
I think I overall agree with this.
Yeah.
I think potential is just a word that's overused in a lot of communities.
Correct.
And ProjectMoon fans are just really big on it. It's ever since Sunshower Heathcliff. I think the word has lost a lot of meaning.
If potential only stayed about Sunshower Heathcliff, I think it's better because it's kind of like it's like a centralized joke. You know what I mean? But But as Welveter explained, it is something that has been spread to other things and is pretty much the buzzword for like bad or mid. I personally like using the word potential in terms of the actual word potential and like the definition.
I totally forgot about the main way of using the word potential. So now that you have bequeathed to me this knowledge, actually, yeah, I think he has a point. We should be able to say that, especially since a certain thing happened in Kanto 9.
Yes, literally. So like sometimes I'll be talking in chat and I'll mention like something about like this is how you do the potential of this. And they're like, potential? You mean it's dog shit? Like, no, I mean the fucking actual the potential. Like the way it's actually used. Like, oh my god, and then it makes me mad. Yeah.
It's literally all over again.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. And next one, we have actual we have non-creators now.
In case there's a part 3, I want to include my own take.
Congratulations.
I think congratulations, you're in. I think the current Limbus company combat game design is really misleading to players and has a lot of conflicting elements that make it easy for players to be confused. Subtext DLDR, the essay I wrote below, they should get rid of win rate for Abno boss type encounters. Sanity should affect combat in more nuanced ways via low morale, high morale, etc. Coin mechanics should be revised to work in tandem with sanity statuses, such as low morale and potentially high morale, to have more guaranteed conditions similar to unique sanity effects for all identities. And a new a new mechanic inspired by emotion levels from Ruina that adds more strategic nuance to combat by making clashing / the tide of battle less dictated by only sanity. They had me most of the way and then lost me a little bit when they talked about the emotion levels, but
Yeah,
I want
I
to wait
agree.
to get into that. I'm curious to get your thoughts first.
Yeah, I agree with most things here. I think they should get rid of win rate for focused encounters just in general. Abno bosses. I think low morale and high morale should have more love in terms of like standard gameplay. Agree with that. Coin mechanics being revised to work with sanity strategies such as low morale plus high morale. I mean, it kind of already does that. I'm a bit
I think there are ways they can add that.
I guess there's more. You know, yeah, if you want to add more percentages, but I'm not sure how that would work. And the emotion system. Yeah, we have the SID resource system. That is our equivalent of the emotion level.
I think there's a difference between whether or not something's a good idea and whether or not something's a feasible idea.
Yes.
And for most of this, I was actually on board for like the first 3 subtakes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? You want to get rid of win rate for the Abno boss type encounters? Sure, you know, make players interact with the game. I think that would come with some issues.
Yes.
But maybe like if you just want to only allow win rate after they've beaten the initial boss, sure.
Or keep damage rate.
Or keep that just sounds like you're trying to guide people to say, hey, either play the game normally or auto lose.
Yeah, it's either play the game, like you clash everything, or you just send everything on one body part and just send.
I actually think that's a really nice idea and not outside of the realm of possibility for ProjectMoon, because I do think sanity is a very important element, and I could see that being incorporated in 2 ways. One, if they add a high morale status that's like 30 to 45 SP as an equivalent to low morale, that could be something that's introduced in IDs. I don't see that as out of the question, and maybe like a syncing or faction-specific mechanic, which could be really cool. A one-off might be possible, but I think while I would like the idea, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
I just think I don't see that. I don't see them doing it.
Yeah, in realistic terms, the other ones are much more viable. Hot take: the game should be better if the game would be better if they removed every healing effect from egos. I want the gameplay to feel like it is described in the story. Synod death should be common. This also means I want more red coins. They're great.
I feel like this can't be a genuine take.
I feel
like it can't be a genuine take.
All right, well, I'm going to treat it like it is a genuine take. And yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Just remove all healing egos. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. You know what? Let's take everything into an unbreakable coin. Yeah, I agree with it. Let's get fucking silly.
It's not even that the take I'm opposed to on principle, because I like the idea of removing healing ego, but I also feel like red coins exist because healing ego exists and kind of vice versa.
Kind of,
and yes. To be clear, I'm not saying the game couldn't function if they did this. I'm sure they could find a way, but I think the phrasing of it really makes it harder for me to think that this is serious, because it's first saying one thing that's extreme, but I can see the vision, and then doubling down as if to say, yeah, and we're also going to stab ourselves.
I think the way you could do this, if I had to treat this like a legitimate thing, I think the way you do this is you need to rework the stagger threshold system, and you would need to do a global, like, MMO damage number, like, lowering. You know what I mean? Like, how, you know, on MMOs, sometimes they have, like, you have, like, numbers going into, like, the millions or 100,000s, and then they'll do, like, an update where it's like, all right, we're bringing all of the numbers down. It's still the same damage, but, like, instead of going 100,000, it goes to, like, 1,000.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I see it.
So in Limbus, what they would have to do, they'd have to they would have to fix stagger threshold, so like no longer having higher stagger thresholds, or maybe like middle health bar as like the new minimum, and then lower, and then you have to lower the damage numbers across the whole board.
You know what? I just thought about it. They could do that. That is a way to handle it, but this might work if you add stagger resist from Library of Ruina again.
There you go. That's a good idea. If we had stagger resist, you could reasonably have the
On the surface level, the two would be similar.
Yeah.
But I think if we started with stagger resist and then got to Kanto 9, you would have a lot of different developments with how to manage it between like, well, do I take more health damage or stagger damage? Is there any way I can, trade one for the other perhaps? So it's not technically healing, it's conversion. I think it would open up the design space for it really well, but even then,
Yeah.
even then, that's a huge what if.
Pretty much, yeah.
This is more of a warm take / suggestion, but there should be an uptie for 2 for 2-0 IDs and IDs that are heavily outdated. And I don't mean launch ID outdated, where they are still usable just with the lack of damage and some weird quirks. I mean Sunshower, Molar Sinclair, Sloshmeal levels of outdated, which don't let them work on a fundamental level. The prior was literally designed with a different sanity system in mind, by the way. I disagree with this being a hot take, because I think PM is literally saying they want to do this.
Pretty much. I actually had something that might be relevant to this.
Go for it.
think uptie 5 should exist. I think it should only exist for 2-star or base star identities. I think they should make the uptie 5 convert them into 3 stars.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that a lot.
And then what you do is you treat uptie 5 as a rework of the ID. A little soft rework to modernize it.
Wait. No, okay. That's a really good idea, because when they introduced uptie 4, there were like 30 IDs in the game.
Yeah.
So they could like batch add those at once. And now there's like 160, 170 now. And that's a lot. So they're still having to batch update them. But since we're not getting 2-0s anymore, then just giving it to those and giving them updates, and if you need, you could just still introduce uptie 5 for anything that's also not up to date. Like, I don't know, Blade Lineage Sinclair, let's say.
Well, we have an update for that, Frey. It's called Pinky Apprentice Sinclair.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right. Lest we forget. But I don't know. I've heard he's dead on arrival, so who knows?
Oh, that's right. My bad. Yeah, he is dead on arrival.
I don't think it's a hot take is the main thing.
Well, I guess they did say it's a warm suggestion. They did say warm take / suggestion.
You know what? They did say that. You're right. So this is entirely valid.
The way they are handling some of the sinners past their Kano is terrible. Every single minor detail feels like it's made to be specifically designed to further emphasize that Gregor is an outcast, prime example being the birthdays. They didn't bother giving the other sinners actual unique birthdays, just the same date and month as their number, and then made Gregor have December 31st. It just feels lazy. I'm not even saying this as a Gregor fan, I'm just tired of hearing Kim Jae-hoon say for the millionth time, hey, look, this guy is an outcast. He's different from everyone else.
Hold on.
This is a bit
Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's on. He's on. Isn't his on February? His is on February 29th. It's a leap year.
Yeah. This is just a wrong take. His birthday isn't December 31st. It's February 29th.
Yeah, which I guess if you sub that in, I guess it's still kind of relevant to what they're talking about because it's a leap year. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with this take.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I think we disagree.
Yeah.
The issue I have with it is that you could have picked a lot of ways to say they weren't handling characters well after their Kanto. I think we talked extensively about Ishmael last time, so I won't dig into it. But this is one of the worst examples, specifically because...
Yeah.
No, not even because it's Gregor, because this is for all of the sinners, including ones that haven't been revealed or had their Kantos yet.
That's a good point. Yeah, we're still missing Masson, Otis, Faust.
And also, when you're saying that every minor detail is made to make Gregor an outcast, brother, he's the 13th sinner, which was established by Kanto 1, and all of the birthdays are related to that. I feel like you could have had a much better way to frame the take in regards to some of these guys, but it was like, you had an idea, and then the idea went nowhere. I'm sorry, this is me having fun roasting again.
No,
I don't mean to go so hard on this guy.
This is what people expect.
But it's true.
This is what you can't come on here and give a hot take and expect us to not bite you back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is...
No, you're right.
This is thing. So,
idea that was basically already discussed.
Idea that we've already kind of discussed. And also, I want to just make it clear that what they choose to put on screen is really important because there's only a limited amount of screen time that exists, right? So...
Hot take? Limbus is carried more by its story than its gameplay, and they really shot themselves in the foot by making gameplay that boils down to highest number wins and is prone to a lot of snowballing with how sanity works. I don't get why they couldn't just adopt and improve upon Ruina's combat mechanics rather than what we got with Limbus. And I assume it continues from there.
Yeah, there's a lot more, but I just took that. I know it's your take, but I'm just gonna interlude here real quick.
Do it.
Library of Ruina is more snowbally than Limbus Company. Can you carry on? Go on with your take now. Go over your version. I just want to come say that out there.
I agree to a certain extent. I think if this take were made like a year ago, it would be much more true than it is today. The way things worked for a long time, like we're day oneers, right? Are we both day oneers?
No. I played in season 3. Miracle 20 is when I started.
Oh, okay. Season 3 is still like
it's
pretty
still,
close.
It's when they started shifting into the modern day.
Yeah, I'd say that we didn't get much depth. The first embers of depth came with the Dongbei fight, I don't think this holds up as much, but I will ultimately agree that there is a level of shooting themselves in the foot with doing this, but I'd consider it more Project Moon painted their way into a corner very early on with Limbus, and they've basically used a hammer to power through the drywall so that they can make more design space.
I agree. I think the thing is this. I think hindsight 2020, if they knew what they knew now, this would never have been a problem. Secondary, I think they have the funniest potential thing they can do with Purgatorio if they do decide Purgatorio and just fucking rework the whole game. Rework entire Purgatorio system. Fuck it, we ball. You know what I'm saying? They could go from the beginning if they decide to do that.
Dude, the sapling of light is just going to be turned into some kind of twisted apple tree, and once you get that, you're going to get emotion levels. You're going to
it's just going to be Library Runner 2.0. We're going to hear like. But yeah, no, I guess I should elaborate on my thing with Library Runner. Library Runner is a really snowbally game. The only reason that you don't notice the snowbally is because if you lose the snowball, you die and reset. Library of Ruina does not snowball you in terms of sanity, but it snowballs you in terms of your emotion, which is red and green. In Library of Ruina, if you lose the snowball, you die. Like your character dies, you get staggered, and you can't recover. Like you can't recover unless you're like playing the cracked key pages, you know what I'm saying? So unless you're running the Malfaust equivalent on fucking Roland, you know what I'm saying? Like, ever since chain battles existed, I think snowballing is not really an issue. You come in with more sanity now if you die, so it's not like you're getting completely screwed if you do wipe your first team. You're like you wipe, you come in, you get you get your IDs, you have more sanity, you have ego resources for dying.
Ooh. I guess the equivalent I could see if I were to try and like Devil's Advocate Ruina here is having several floors to work with. But even then, the momentum that the enemy would have when you've gotten to your next floor outpaces like what you'd have because you're still stuck at emotion level 1.
Yeah, and they have 5 skill slots on each character. And what do you fucking do, right? You don't have any benefits. You don't have any boon. You have 0 on the version level, you have 1. Also, not every fight gives you floors. That's another thing. It's inconsistent. Some fights, like Philip, Dawn Philip, you have to do it in 1 floor.
That's true, yeah. I guess, I didn't really think about it until now, but I did have to reset a lot more with Library of Ruina than Limbus.
Exactly.
But that could be for a number of reasons, but I think you're cooking on that. I think you're cooking.
I think there's something more to discuss around there.
Just think about it like this. The fight with Matthias is like a cop going into a bakery.
Oh my god, okay.
It's the one where you end with a donut and a crawler.
Please, Ezra, please, Vespa, take my clash, please. They're gonna beat me to death. Please, I'm getting fucking jumped.
Hot take. People worry way too much about statuses being count/potency positive on new IDs when clashing power is more important than often. Statuses are a bonus. If you lose a clash, they don't get applied anyways. They had me in the first half!
Why'd they lose you? The second part?
They lost me like after 40% of the way through when they said clashing power is more important. If you have an ID that is unable to afflict its statuses because it can't clash, that's going to be harder to work around. Handshake. I also think worrying too much about clash power beyond it being an essential and giving it more value than being an essential, I think is a bad way to look at it.
Going too deep in one or the other is bad.
Yeah, exactly. There has to be a balance. I have other thoughts on it, but I want to get your take on this first.
I think this is where unbreakable coins on sinners come in. Because you can kind of have this dilemma where, like, maybe the coin isn't the super best at being able to clash, like a skill 1, but it has unbreakable coins, so you get the benefit of inflicting the status. I think this take strictly comes from the fact that we haven't had mono statuses in a while.
I can kind of see that. I also think Rupture Season has caused a large amount of focus on count values, which by proxy also encourages a look at potency, since that's a side dish. I actually agree with this guy. I agree when they say people worry way too much about statuses being count and
Agreed.
potency positive. But, and I wouldn't have learned this if I didn't start doing kit reviews, because I started picking this up a couple months ago. I think that trying to focus on every ID being counter potency positive does devalue their value. I just don't think it's because of clash power. I think it's because every ID has other things that make them unique than both of these.
Rupture, guys, as we said, is honestly the what's the word? You can't.
Poster child?
Yeah, I was gonna say the unwanted child. But not because it doesn't have any IDs, but because if everything was rupture positive, guys, that means you would have perma true damage on every enemy you fight. You have to work for your true damage. Hot take. I don't like leader IDs. Kong Lu, for example, makes it so that with him, you only want to put Haisho and Jishmael on the team. Even if the Haisho are good without Kong Lu, since he makes them work better, it makes people build teams based on that, instead of, you know, freely mixing the IDs. I'm gonna have to just hard disagree. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I
kind of agree, but I wanna hear where you're coming from.
I think it's fair, especially in this team-based game where we have 12 sinners, to have factions where you want to use everything in a group. Am I saying that things should always be used, like, should not always be used on their own? I mean, you could use Kong Lu. You can use, as said here, you can use the Haisho on their own. There's no downside to that. But are you going to awaken their true power by not having Kong Lu on the team? No, you're not going to awaken their true power by having Kong Lu on the team. Same with Liu Roja. She is technically a team leader identity, even if her team leader capability is a little bit harder and a little bit minor compared to others, but still a team leader. You can run Liu without Liu Roja, but you'll definitely benefit more. And I just think if everything was a generalist unit, well then like, or if anything was meant to be put anywhere, then it kind of makes it a bit boring.
I think leader ID should exist. I do agree with this person when they say, when ProjectMoon makes leader IDs and then goes whole hog for a significant amount of the season on trying to synergize with that more than variety, I see the problem there.
I see Lord Honglu and Season 6 brought up a lot with this. Is it a Season 6 and Lord Honglu problem if he is the only one of that kind? Or is it just his gimmick? Because as far as we're aware, Lord Honglu is the only identity that has pretty much the entire Sinners at his beck and command, and he is the only identity which majorly benefits from having his entire faction in there. Is that not just a one-time off gimmick? Would that just not be his one-off thing, instead of it being the new standard?
You know, I live in Texas, and we've thought regularly about whether or not having a drought is a good thing. And, you know, I've come to realize that even having one, it doesn't feel great. I think I tried it. I'm not going to look back on it, but feeling good about it.
I don't think this is on the same term as a drought. Because a drought would imply that there wasn't anything else in the season. There was the biggest season we've had of Season 6, right? We had 17 IDs in the season. Half of them were Haisho. So the other half were non-Haisho units.
I think that's the problem, though. I think it's still a step too far. Mainly because I'm going down the line. I'm opening up Lord of Hong, Yan Hong Lu, and I'm not going into his story, but I'm seeing how many IDs there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 IDs that work within his story. And that includes... Wait, is Ryoshu in here?
Ryoshu can
there are
work
two
with him.
Ryoshu.
Yeah.
There are two, both Heisho and Drifting Blade Ryoshu, so that's effectively 12. Sorry, Merceau. I feel like 12 of the 17, if it were 6 or 7, motherfucker, I hate myself. If it were...
Okay, go on.
If it were 6 or 7 rabies, then I think that would be one thing. I think you'd be able to say, yeah, you know what, we tried it, we saw where it was, that's cool. But if it's 12 and it's like 66%, sorry, 67% of the IDs that came out, I think that's a step too far.
But is it a step too far if it's the only one of its kind?
Yes. I'm saying if there were literally, and I'll say it again, 6 or 7, and I'm gonna enunciate that more every time I have to say it, then that would be one thing of like trying. But it felt like it was so sustained throughout the season.
I think that would have made it worse. Imagine trying to explain to a new player. Oh, you got the Lord of Hong Lu. Oh, that's great. Oh, you want to get the rest of the Haisho IDs? Yeah, you have to go through Season 6, then you have to do Bokak in Season 7, then you have to go through Season 9, then you have to go through You're never going to get the whole team. The whole team.
I don't. Oh, damn. I really wish Project Moon thought of that before they made Prince of La Mancha Land Merceau.
Yeah.
Because they've done it! They've done it!
But you can get 4 out of the 5 of them or in one season. But you don't see saying that like, oh, well, that's fine.
Oh, so wait. So you're saying the issue is there are too many they have to get in order for it to work?
No,
Instead of,
I'm saying if you're gonna get all of them, you're gonna get a majority in the same season, so it's more fair to get them all.
I feel like that's a part of being a gotcha, and also again, they've basically done it, and the concept you're saying is made much worse by there being more of them.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that's there's 12 high show packs. And we have 6 of them.
You know what?
We might even get 7
named characters in Kanto 8.
Yeah, but that's the. Oh my god! I'm not arguing the named characters. I'm saying the high show. The gimmick was very clearly we have Lord of Honglu and we have the 12 packs. Now, whether we got all 12 packs, that's a different story. But I'm not arguing that. I'm saying the gimmick of season 6 was there's one ID, the Lord of Hongluan, and his gimmick is that everyone else sucks his dick. That's the gimmick. All right, that's the season 6 gimmick.
I get it. Honglong fellatio, the strategy. I understand the concept. I'm just saying, I don't feel like an entire season should be spent dick riding a single man. And I feel like when they're saying, I don't like leader IDs, it makes it so that with him, you only want to put certain users on the team. I feel like that could have been stemmed significantly if they kept this to just 6 or 7 and still considered that something to experiment here, and they could have eventually gotten to 12 over the next few Bokgaks. We literally had 4 Heisho come out in intervalos. They could have done that again if they had, say it with me, 6 or 7. That would have been like 10 or 11, which is the perfect number.
I think we could argue this forever.
We could.
Forever.
Hot take. LCB Checkup introduced so much interesting stuff, such as different EX conditionals, the Sinner's scaling of original power, Dawn's own bloodlust, and the fact Dante can also feel it. Yet a lot of the introduced stuff hasn't come back in the story yet, which is super disappointing. Sure, the pace of new content is bare bones. They could have used this event to introduce extra content to Dante's notes, such as the abnormality logs or training levels seen in other gacha games, so that people get more comfortable to new mechanics. Yeah, I guess.
I was going to say, Kana 9 kind of alleviates most of this point.
I feel like this is kind of there is opportunity here. I think adding in stuff into Dante's notes is something that's nice to do every so often. And I do think LCB Checkup introduced a lot of interesting stuff, and the EX conditionals are cool. But I also think, like, beyond the EX conditionals becoming more of a common thing, Project Moon always, like, drip feeds us.
Yeah, drip feeding is not a new thing. This has been from Library Verona as well. Like, the Library Verona content was drip fed.
Yeah, and I think you're right when you say Kanto 9 does a lot of this, but I think this is less a hot take on something that should or shouldn't exist. Because of LCB Checkup inherently. I think it's more like, you noticed this pattern at this time, which I think is true, but I think it's more accurate to call it how it's always been, which is a different discussion.
This actually is a different meaning now that we have Kana 9 and, you know, that and all the new abnormality logs, the reintroduced abnormalities, I wouldn't say the new EX conditionals, because the EX conditional is beat shock centipede in 10 turns. That's already an EX conditional on itself. I think a lot of people didn't like the EX conditionals in LCB Bokgak. There was one of them they didn't like, which was the what's it called? The Sloth Picatulum.
The sloth one, you know what? They committed to that one being annoying. I have to respect them for it.
I mean, yeah, I agree. But also, people got upset about the EX conditionals because they're not trying to try hard in the EX conditionals. They want to. So it's like, again, it's like, what do you want? Do you want to have hard EX conditionals, or do you want to have just normal EX conditionals? You can't appease it. No one's going to get appeased here, right? So you go one or the other. A lot of it's been fixed in Kana 9. Hot take. If we accept Hohenheim's definition of the sins are behaviors, not mindsets. They're automatisms. Automatisms. That's also why when you fail to sort a single sin is what's left. Because when your sense of self is fully gone, all that's left is your routineness? Routines?
Like your routine.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus. Okay. So your routines. Is this a hot take, or is this just a
no?
Comment?
This is a fun fact.
This is just a fun. Yeah, editor, cross out the hot take and put fun fact on there. That's a fun fact. So Cool. Hell yeah.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks, I needed that.
I mean, I
You're the
agree.
law expert
Just
here,
like,
so.
yeah, bathrooms down the hall.
Yeah.
You can even get by without buying a coffee. Thanks for popping in later.
Thank you.
I like MGI and MDE, but after hitting level 100, you will get no additional rewards compared to basic MD. Makes them not worth to play. Do they mean level 100 in like
In the Mirror Dungeon Battle Pass?
In the Battle Pass. Okay, I was thinking like level 100, like offense level.
Yeah,
Okay,
no. So we have like the seasonal Battle Pass, which is irrelevant. I think they're talking about like the seasonal 6 achievement Battle Pass that they had.
I think this is a true statement, but honestly, if Project Moon were to make any changes to Mirror Dungeon, I don't think I'd want them to be this.
I think this issue stems from just video games in general. Like, what happens if you were playing Call of Duty 20 years ago and you reached max level and got all the items? What are you playing Call of Duty for then?
True.
For fun, right? Like,
True.
that's kind of like the thing here.
You know what? That's actually a really good point. You beat the game.
Yeah.
The reward is you get to play a different game.
Yeah, I think the whole idea with like always needing additional rewards, I always need my stim, is kind of a bad thing to have. I know this is a gacha game, and yes, and I know we should, like, obviously it has rewards, that's cool.
Yeah.
But we can have things that just help improve the fun. Like, I feel like a lot of times when people mention Season 6, they don't mention a lot of the Mirror Dungeon things that we got because I don't play Mirror Dungeons, they're boring anyway. That's, like, the excuse. Well, it's like, okay, well, I'm glad you don't like it. But for those of us who actually, like, play for fun or, like, do that stuff, dude, Extreme's awesome. I like the achievement system, the rework. They took out a lot of the potentially grimy elements that some people might have had with the achievement system and made it so you can just grind for that stuff. You get bonuses for doing all that, and that's it. It's just fun, man. Like, it is just for fun.
Personal hot take. When it comes to art, I think Limbus Company Kanto's 1 through 3 rough style looks much better than the new Kanto 6 to 8 style we have now. I don't dislike the newer style, but the older style really showed us players how messed up and wild the city really is. While I think the original PV art style shows more emotion, the current one looks more consistent.
Can I say a hot take?
Agree. Go for it.
I prefer the new one over the old art style. I didn't mind the what was her name?
Velmori?
I don't mind the Velmori style, but I much more like the new style we have.
From Naiga? Yeah.
Yeah, from Naiga. I much prefer Naiga's style.
I think this ultimately, and I think it's fine to call this like a personal hot take because this is like artistic preferences. Yeah. And we can keep this as a conversation about artistic preferences more than anything else.
Yeah.
But I personally agree with them. I think that the way the city is set up, it is very much benefited with the raw emotion that comes with the more jagged and kind of smeared lines. And I think Naiga, while both Naiga and Velmori are very talented artists, I think Naiga does stuff in a more clean style that it leaves me kind of missing how things used to be. One of the best examples that I loved about Velmori's art came from the SEA Intervalo, and they did I loved what they did with the different expressions, especially the intense ones they had for Ishmael, because you can see, I don't think this is the kind of intensity that we've gotten from Naiga. Again, no disrespect, this is a difference in preference. The Arknights one, especially the Roja, Merceau, and Dawn impressions, is really nice. I agree.
I really like the Honglu close-up. You can agree that the Velmori stuff is cool. I mean, at least it's still there, so you get to enjoy it. Malfaust and her consequences have been a disaster for Limbus Company, and water is wet. Not only did her release during Part 2 of Kano 8 spark a whole discourse over nerfs and playtesting, she also permanently kneecapped all future Haisho identities with how her Tianju star buff works. We had assumed from the Mals and Cs that her Haisho gimmick would be Deathrite, and that Lord Honglu would have a good number of them thanks to the GQ fight. But Malfaust being able to permanently access her skill 3-2 once she reaches 10 star made Kim Ji-hyun too afraid to add more death rights, because he doesn't want Malfaust to make all the other IDs and teams relevant with Rupture Archetype. Okay, this went off like 5 paragraphs. I stopped them here. I have a few problems with this. I have a few agreements with this. One, yes, Malfaust and the consequences have been a disaster for Limbus Company. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Very easy case to make. Yeah.
Very easy case to make. Second part, the release of during Part 2 had a discourse over nerfs and playtesting. Yes, I think Kim Ji-hyun did a big oopsie there. He should have really fixed that better or doubled down. Literally, if he'd done one or the other, I think people would have liked it more. He did neither. That didn't help. Should
Half
permanently
measures,
kneecap
yeah.
all future high show identities. Now, this is where I have my controversial opinion, because I know Ezgu has also commented on this on his high show video. I think that is coincidence. I don't think that's actually related to, personally. I think the death rights were always going to be changed after this moment, because they realized how clunky the death right system was actually going to be if they included their original goal of having 6 and 7 of the high show identities each inflict their own unique death right, and then having Honglu have his own death rights. Now, in gameplay terms, I'm sure it would be awesome, Frey, to have a whole team inflict 12 different status effects on a single enemy, right? Fun in thought, but what in actual probably practicality, it'd probably be a fucking nightmare to not only maintain, like figure out how to maintain 12 different unique status effects. The thing is, it's like, the excuse I see people say is, oh, it's because of her Tianju star buff, right? Well, they tried to nerf it and it didn't work. So, I don't think the logical answer would have been, let's just get rid of all of death rights, because she already gets it every turn.
Yeah.
So what's the... It doesn't matter if they added more.
It's not really changing much, is it?
If they added the other 12 death rights, nothing would have changed. It's not like they nerfed it and then did it. That's a different story. No, they committed to it. I think what happened is they looked at the death right and they said, okay, there were 2 versions of high shows, I think. And this comes with the point that I make about, I bring this up constantly. ProjectMoon are very fucking good at preparing stuff for story. When it comes to identities, there are no more than 1 fortnight ahead of us. People think that they have fucking months of No, they come up with this shit like a fortnight ahead of us. 2 weeks ahead.
Yep.
All right? There's no fucking planning besides them going, all right, I want Lord Hongwan to be Honglu for the seasonal, and I think I want him to be cool, and I want him to have high show packs. How are they actually plan?
Wait.
What?
Are you sure about that?
That's what I think. That's what my theory is.
Okay.
Certain identities are different. Certain identities are different. Certain things they have planned.
Right.
But
the seasonals, I would agree, are
seasonals are always planned. I think the gimmick of the season is planned in terms of like high show packs and Lord Honglu. We'll use season 6 as an example. I think they wanted high shows and they wanted Lord Honglu. They knew what Lord Honglu, what they wanted an idea from, but they didn't have the execution on how the high shows worked. Because you can't look at, if you look at the Mouse and the Seas, and then look at the rest of the high shows, there are 2 different versions of high shows. So I think once they got toward Malfaust, they realized, we don't actually like this version of the high shows that we have planned. We should pivot.
Okay, now I feel educated enough to talk about this. So, I think it's possible. So, okay, here's the long and short of my answer. I don't think we can know, but I think production is messy enough that they both had ideas for a lot of the IDs before they were like 2 weeks before they had to come out. But then they both had to have some that just needed to happen in 2 weeks, either as filler or to maintain a schedule. Or if we say, yeah, you know what, the major overhaul to Rupture and Talisman Sinclair and also Malfaust is true, then yeah, they had to change their plans. I think we're doing a disservice to what production really is, because it's rarely this clean and on schedule, especially from a guy that's saying, I really should hire more people, but I also have a hard time doing that.
Yes.
I think there are instances where they have ideas for IDs as much as 3 months in advance, not just with the seasonal, but also with the Bokgak ones, the Intervalo ones, or even just some nice ideas they get up and they start to try and schedule it out. I'm to be fair, I am going at it for my own bias on doing stuff for YouTubers and film, so it's not going to be a perfect 1-to-1, but sometimes shit just happens and stuff comes out late, or you get to stuff on time and you gotta wing it. And
I agree.
I think it would be too oversimplifying to say it's always 2 weeks and sometimes planned, to where it's, bro, they're just doing what they can when they have more time and when they have less time.
I am oversimplifying it to make it so that it is easily digestible for the viewer, right?
You're right.
And in my thought process, I think if anyone else was in Malfaust's instance, they still would have pivoted. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I think they could have done the Death Right system, and nothing would have changed in terms of balancing, but in my personal opinion, Frey, I like the assist attack gimmick more they gave to Honglu than I do over the Death Right. I think now that hindsight's 2020 and we have the full thing, I think it's cool as fuck.
I can't play. It's OP, but it's fun. It's fun.
It's strong, but it's fun as fuck, dude. It's fun as fuck, and it is sick. But yeah, I think the end of the day, there were 2 different plans of high shows. They couldn't decide on which one they wanted, so they pivoted. And Malfaust potentially could have been an issue, but I don't think she was related. I think she was just a coincidence.
Project Moon, as it currently is not equipped to handle the ambitions of Kim Ji-hoon. They do not have the manpower to create a 4th game at the same time as Limbus, and for as much as I'd love to get one, I think it's not going to happen unless there are major changes in how Project Moon runs its studio. Yes! Because I don't think these guys have ever worked on 2 games concurrently. And Limbus is already ambitious, especially because from the way Kim Ji-hoon, and this is speculating, won't put that out there, but especially with the way Kim Ji-hoon's saying, I have no idea what we're doing with Kanto 10, I think their ambitions for Limbus Company alone are too much for them to handle at the moment, despite Kim Ji-hoon saying, well, eventually we can get to 100 employees. I honestly don't know what the proper answer here is. I don't.
Well, actually, we kind of have an answer because of the roadmap.
Go on.
So, in the roadmap, Kim Ji-hoon did talk about the second game. He mentioned, yeah, it's kind of fucked if we did do a second game on top of Limbus Company because of the manpower and also because of the Limbus system. And that's why he introduced the module system, where they make games inside Limbus Company using the Limbus engine. Like, he talked about making a distortion detective point-and-clicker that uses the Limbus game engine to follow the distortion story, where it is a separate game, it has its separate mechanics, but it's in the Limbus engine.
You know what? Yeah, that is true. I guess I'm assuming that this person's take is like,
oh, we want a new
within
game.
the Limbus engine.
We want a new game.
Well, not even with a new game. I'm saying like even with using the same engine, which does cut down a lot on resources. To make that very clear, it does make a difference.
The thing is, it's like Project Moon is not currently equipped to handle its ambitions. I think they've been handling his ambitions pretty well. They're doing the slow thing of drip feeding the ambitions. That's the only way they can do it. Kim Ji-hoon has said multiple times that he believes it is better to drip feed than it is to wait 4 years and then drop one thing. That's how he views it. Whether you think that's the right thing or the wrong thing is irrelevant, because that is how he is running things, right? That's how he did it for Library of Ruina. Yeah. The Lobotomy Corp was the only game they dropped, I think, and even then they had a beta for it, so you could make an argument that it was still dripped.
That's the first too, so they learned a lot.
Lobotomy Corp, Library of Ruina only went up to Urban. It went up to Tomeri.
Really? Oh, okay. I wasn't around for those days.
No. So I was told this. Library of Ruina only went up to Tomeri was the last fight of Library of Ruina, and then they added the other parts over time, right?
What a fucking finale, man!
Yeah,
that's great.
That was literally the finale. Yeah, what a fucking finale, right? They did that on purpose. So this is not a new thing that has been going on. The difference is that Library of Ruina is a complete game at the end of it. And I have full, potentially, thought process that they might do the same thing for Limbus after it finishes. I mean, after Limbus is finished, I don't think they're just going to perpetuate the gacha cycle. I think they'll just be like, we're done, we'll move on to the next project, like they did Library of Ruina.
I do hope that they would... Okay, this is kind of aside from the point.
This is copium.
I do hope that... Yeah. I do hope that after they finish with Limbus, we can just have it as a playground, including mod tools.
Yeah. If they make the game offline...
I'll always go back to.
Yeah. If they come out... This is the best. The best scenario is, all right, guys, we done. It's been 20 years of Limbus Company, and the game is now complete. It's like 200 gigabyte download. It's offline. You don't need servers anymore. There's no paid content.
Dante has found the One Piece.
Dante found the One Piece. We have, like Carmen is, like the bit where they do the movies where like everyone's doing a dance off, and they're like, and the villain's like tapping their foot a little bit. That's like Herman.
Oh,
like, come on, Herman. And then dance with Herman.
Carmen's Lord Farquaad in the Dragon.
Yeah. Lord Farquaad in the Dragon, with Iron in the light. Dante, like Roland and Angela are like dancing with the Sephira in the library. It's the happy ending.
I think season 6 is the first time where we, as the players, really got to see what could happen if Kim Ji-hoon's ambition kind of feels like it's off the rails enough to change the regular flow of a season. Because I think it's a fair statement to say that this did not deliver on what was all expected from a season. Not saying that's better or worse. That can be left into interpretation, but it was different.
That's what happens when the water tipped. There was a spillage down. That is too much for them to handle.
Yes, and here's the deal. I'm not saying Kim Ji-hoon can't come back from that, but I am saying that there is a reason to come back to it, reassess, and say, okay, let's go for more stability. And this is one of the few times where, despite having very little insight on the goings-on of there, I do feel kind of confident in saying that is the better choice. And I would be very happy to be corrected in the comments, because I think it's a very interesting and open-ended discussion. But after Season 6, I think it is the wrong time to try and push for an additional game when it still seems like the ambitions of Limbus are growing and the wheels aren't fully sticking.
Hot take? I think they should add more stuff you can do in the mid stages of the game, since half the stuff you can do isn't story locked, that isn't behind the latest Kanto. Agreed.
Oh, you mean like a mirror dungeon, but only after you beat like Kanto 4 or something?
I think this is saying like a lot of stuff that you can do in Limbus Company, you usually have to be up to date, like hard mode, railways, like extremes and stuff like that.
You know what? The question marks are warranted. I don't think it's too hot a take. I just think like, go off, King.
I think they're kind of solving this with Bokgax and Bokgax.
But do Railway Bokgax, like, I guess they are kind of solving it, because that's a permanent threshold stuck at after Kanto 8, right? So even if we get into Purgatorio, that'll still be available if you get through Kanto 8. I think if you get past Kanto 4 or Kanto 5, you should get a little treat, and Kim Ji-hoon should send you like a handwritten letter in the mail.
I think the dungeon, the mirror dungeon, should just be unlocked, but they just restrict what you get access to. I don't play gacha games, so I don't actually know if other gacha games do this.
Might be an infrastructure issue, if I had to guess, for a reason why they didn't do it this way, because I don't think there's any reason, like a marketing reason, to not allow people to have additional content midway through. I think that's just continuing to drip feed, as we've been saying.
Also, the system doesn't really... This is not like a 3D platformer, Genshin, this Triple Z kind of game where like you can walk around and do stuff like that, right? So it's... If you're not in a node, you're not doing anything, right? Like, there's nothing to do.
Getting more power creep for the sinners lowers/degrades the danger aspect of the city. Like, people would make the argument because having mirror... Wait. Like, people would make the argument because having powerful mirror identities means LCB could face off against the Fingers, massive syndicates of insane individuals. I think that's... This is a hot take, but I think this is a take that ignores that, I think this is the point.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I would call progression in a video game.
This is a video. I do have to, you know, say this is a video game. We do get stronger. We are getting stronger and stronger identities. But as far as we are aware, even though we might get like Goku as an identity, as an example, it's not at the level of Goku because the sinners are all on the contract still. So
yeah.
It's like, you know what it is, Frey? It's like beating a boss and then getting the nerfed version of the boss as a playable character.
But isn't that what we already have?
Yes, that is literally what we are doing. That is literally what we are doing. We are taking that. We are just getting the nerfed version of the boss.
Hear me out. You're not the one that needs to hear me out, because I'm pretty sure you agree, but I think the viewer might need to hear me out a little. Like, this is what ProjectMoon's already, or not already, but always done.
Yes.
Lobotomy Corporation, you're running a wing. Library of Runa, you're running a place where death doesn't exist. You can manifest anything.
You are literally a color
fixer. Find you. You're not just literally a color fixer. You are in the only place where the dangers of the city for most of the story cannot affect you. You're in a safety blubber bubble.
Yeah.
And are here waiting for people to walk into your trap. And Limbus, the closest thing is that you just can't really die. And that is somehow the most risk that any main group has had to danger yet. Maybe arguable with Lobotomy Corp, but I'd say this is the most. Yeah. And saying that people making the argument that folks could face off against the Fingers in the LCB, I don't think we want to stay in the urban legend, urban play power scale forever. And even though we've gotten more powerful, guess what? Half of the late, and this probably was said before Kanto 9 release, so I get things have changed.
This is all on the video, like pretty much before C9.
Yes. So I'm gonna give this person a bit of grace because of that. But like half of the Kanto 9 fights in the end were where there were people significantly stronger than us that saved our asses.
Yeah.
But we still had a chance to fight the insane individuals.
Also, Dante wasn't there for most of them.
Then I could see their point, because we still have a lot of game to get through with Purgatorio and Paradiso, but we're almost certainly getting to like Impuritas and beyond before the end of the entirety of Limbus.
Yeah. Also, I just want to make a comment that game mechanics like levels and stuff typically don't really factor into the story. It's gameplay is typically separate when it comes to that than the thing. My personal hot take: snowballing is the biggest issue in the fights. The first few turns dictate everything, and if you have a bad first few turns, like losing clashes and don't gain sanity fast enough, compared to your foe, it becomes a mighty high uphill battle with a single turn completely makes you lose a battle. Yeah, that's we've already discussed this. The same as in Library. Snowballing is less of an issue in Limbus because if you lose, you have backup identities theoretically. But I do agree that the first turns are important. But I have done many a fights in story mode where I have lost the first turns and I have managed to come back my way without having everyone die.
We've talked about so much of this. Hey, plug, watch my video from last year about critiquing Limbus Company's gameplay. Because that, it's, sorry, but like, it kind of verbatim addresses this. But at the same time, stuff you've mentioned, like, the chain battles with having backup sinners is like a level of forgiveness for being able to come back from that. And phase changes, where even if you are snowballing, the enemy changing phase makes it so it kind of resets the pace of the fight and you have to adjust. I think Limbus has gotten a lot better of maintaining pace, and stuff like even Unbreakable Coins has been helpful with that. So I think it's more of an outdated take than a bad take.
This is before Kano 9, so I think it's improving.
Hot take. I don't think this is a hot take, but so many bosses' enemies now have red coin inflation.
That's a bit of a, you know. I mean, you do you, man, but
I think two fights in particular may have found a way to address red coin inflation.
Yeah.
I think two potential men really did address that.
Yeah, so what if we just didn't have one? What if we fuck Unbreakable Coin? I'm just gonna kill you.
But the green one is healthier.
The green one is for the green goblin.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get Incision Coins anytime soon, so...
There's a non-zero... When they introduced Unbreakable Coins in Season 7, we started getting Unbreakable Coins on
That IDs. Is true, but consider how much boss mechanics would be broken if we had Excision Coins.
I think by the end we're getting at least 1 or 2 Excision Coins on IDs. I'd be surprised if we don't.
Maybe at the end of Inferno. Or they'll do a rebalance on Excision Coins. You think at the end of this season, that is mighty...
I think at least 1 ID with at least 1 Excision Coin, absolutely.
If the seasonal Enryoshu has a fucking Excision Coin on her skill 3, I'll give you pats on the back. You know?
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll give you 5 subs if she doesn't.
Ooh.
I'll give you 5 memberships if she doesn't. I can shake on that.
Wow. Okay. Shit. Well, I mean, you do you, man.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, we're definitely not getting purple coins. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I forgot about the purple. What the fuck? Those weren't even named, man.
No, they were just fucking kill you. I fucking kill you coins.
These are the coins that delete you because I have an artifact and because I'm also deleting myself.
But look, if they made it so that the seasonal Enryoshu only on her skill 3, and it's her unsheathing the blade to cut the Unbreakable Coin apart because it's a green coin, that would be kind of fucking really sick. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay.
If she pulls the sword in her S3 and that gives her the green coin, then yeah, I'll let her do that. But I don't think there's gonna be any green coins for a while. I like Sinclair. Is this a hot take?
You motherfucker.
Yeah, you're banned. Actually. I'm gonna unblur you and I'm gonna ban you from both me and Frey's channel. You're getting banned.
No, yeah, give me their name.
If you said this on Twitter, probably yeah, you'd get like smitten.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Like, he cannot be allowed to breed. In all seriousness, it's fine. Like,
no,
dude, I don't know what your stance like, or if Sinclair has a reputation on your channel. At this point, it's just a meme for me to hate on Sinclair.
He's my baby bird. I treat him like my son.
He's your baby.
He's like my boy. You know, he's my growing boy.
Wait, I have to ask after Kanto 9. Is that a good thing?
He became a big bird after Kanto 9, I'll tell you that much. He became a big bird. He grew up, you know what? It's like a proud father watching their child, you know, like go into the world, you know? Except his is being a war veteran, I guess.
Even now that I think that he's gotten to be a much better character, with some flaws, but a much better character overall.
Of course.
I still can't resist just kicking him while he's down.
That's fine. I mean, you're in your villain arc all the time, so.
Project Moon should aggressively attempt to buy back the rights to Wonder Lab with a fair amount of money, of course. It's their IP that the comic is based off of, after all, and it was formerly fully canon too. And having it taken away and remain forever unutilized just hurts the storytelling of Project Moon in the long run.
All right. First things first, before we say anything, there are legal issues in regards to this, okay? So there's not much we can really know about in the behind the scenes. All we need to know is that this also goes with the Wonder Lab and the Leviathan. Not Leviathan.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Leviathan.
right. Leviathan's in that mix
Leviathan
too.
and Wonder Lab are both in a court issue legal battle with Project Moon. As far as we're still aware, that is still going on.
This is nice. It's a nice idea, and I use nice
In a
as in
perfect
like
world.
Convenient.
Yeah.
I feel like in a perfect world, this wouldn't have even happened. Not to be contrarian about it, but like, I feel like this is taking a topic that is very complex and simplifying it, which, to be fair, is the purpose of a hot take.
That is what we are doing.
But like, if there is a way that they can, you know what? How about this? If the creator of Wonder Lab feels comfortable, because I know it wasn't just about money, it wasn't just about rights. It was about a lot of things, including relationship with the company and how all the characters were depicted, which that's an entire kettle of fish.
Yes.
But if the situation can be settled by giving a lot of fuck you money, that's a really harsh way to say it now that I think about it, but I'll stick with it, over to the creator, who is well within their rights. And I've even talked to them a bit, and they do feel strongly about it, and I think I support them to hold their ground as they see fit. I think if money could solve it, that'd be nice. I just don't think that's the answer. I think you're trying to ascribe a hammer to a situation that might need a wrench, if it even can be fixed, quote unquote, fixed whatsoever.
So as far as we're aware, yeah, this ain't happening. So,
yeah,
and probably for better. So,
listen, we might have to get a diplomat that's well versed in negotiating between people in the Middle East to work this one out. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're gonna need some fucking voodoo rituals thing. But yeah, sorry guys, Wonder Lab is not coming back. But you know what? You can replace Wonder Lab with Distortion Detective. That'll be an hour.
That's true. That's true.
Actually, that is being supported. So there you go. A take. Interesting. They should make a banner which is increased rates change based on the story progression. On Kano 3, you get more N-Corps for Season 2 units. I'm sure you get it. Or make the players always have a high chance of rolling for the seasonal highlight based on the story progress. This might make the learning curve more than just, instantly kill them and heal my guys. So I should use this. Because of older units being weaker compared to IDs now. Yeah. I've pretty much always advocated for the fact that I think there should be a seasonal or a Kanto banner that you get when you're in the Kanto, or at least, in that Kanto, or access to that Kanto.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with this one. So funny thing, that Limbus gameplay video I was talking about earlier, there were like 3 cut sections of it, and they all had to do with monetization and people management. I think unlocking one of those with every single Kanto you complete, and you get to get like 20 pulls at a lower rate for like the more seasonal IDs, would be a really fun way to work with power scaling. And you'd get some people that say, well, this is actually a waste of your lunacy. You should go for the full
because you should always be going for the modern banner, because, pretty much. But fuck you.
Yeah,
How about that?
but at the same time, I think this would legit make Project Moon more money, which I don't think is a bad thing in this instance. And B, even if you do say, well, it's less efficient, and ergo as a product of that is tempting people to make worse decisions with their money, I would argue that this gives them an experience that is more scaled with how it was upon release. Hot take. They should remove the win rate button from main story major boss fights like Dongbei, Dongrong, blah, 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 Jacques, Lei Hang, etc. so people actually beat the boss by themselves. Doesn't go for mirror dungeons, though, or it'd be a nuisance. Some people just cakewalk the majority of the story through the OP seasonal IDs. Also, to beat the Limbus players can't read allocations.
We talked about this already, so...
We talked about this. I agree. I think this would cause problems, and I think they'd be really, really funny.
It would be funny.
And I think for the entire month of April, the April Fool's bit should be that win rate is gone.
No win rate.
I want to
would be crazy.
I want to recreate.
You know, like in Undertale, where Asgore breaks the spare button, the mercy button.
Yeah.
They should have the April Fool's fight, just fucking destroy the win rate button on the pad, and just be like, fucking good luck, buddy.
It's like Hakma breaking the pause button.
Yeah, Hakma breaking the button. They've done it before. It could be a possibility.
No, make it so that you can use win rate on weekends on mobile, but only on mobile, only on weekends.
Fucking weekend. Yeah, like a free XP bonus, but you get a free win rate bonus.
Yeah. Or even if you want to make it worse, only on Mondays.
I'm gonna get to work, bro. I'm gonna win rate.
Oh, no, that'd actually be even better. Wait.
Yeah, that would be funny.
That'd be so fucking funny and healthy.
Most of the high show, a hot take question mark. Most of the high show should have been 2 stars with the same power of a 2-star, except for Malfoul, Sword of Hong-Yuan, Family Hierarchy, Ishmael, and Drift of Roshu, because they are based on characters not fought enemies. Guys, I'm gonna put my hands aggressively on your shoulders when I say this. This is never how it's ever been in Limbus Company. Named characters are not the only 3 stars that exist. There are 3 stars of non-named characters, and this has been a thing since the beginning of Limbus Company. Making them 2 stars would have done nothing. People would have just hated them more because they're 2 stars, and they would have said, waste of a slot. Why do we even have 2 stars? I know you guys missed 2 stars. I'm sorry. It's not coming back. They're done. It's over.
Why do they miss 2 nils again?
I don't know. I don't know why people want 2 stars. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I get it. It's cheaper. It's cheaper in theory. It's not actually cheaper. It's cheaper in theory. No.
But like, even when they're cheaper, they're designed to be cheaper for a reason.
Yeah, they're cheaper because they're weaker, which again is fine because you can, as I said, 67. And I'm not saying this because of the fucking meme. I calculated.
Rabies.
67% rabies of all 2 stars in the current era are viable all the way up to Kana 9. All right? I calculated it.
Yeah,
I did
and they can be used.
And they can be used. I think that's a fair amount for 2 stars. I don't think we need more. I mean, if we get 1 every 2 seasons, at that point, what's the point of even getting 1 in the first place?
The other part of it is that, let's take this from a lore perspective.
Yeah.
Let's addressing the fact that ProjectMoon and Kim Junari said, well, we feel like people don't like or get as excited for 2 nils, so we're just going to stop doing them, which, you know what? I understand the take that, oh, that's a little manipulative, but it's also like, no, it's actually just kind of consistent, and they kind of just wanted to stop doing a habit that wasn't as good. So if everyone's super, no one's super, whatever. That I feel like I could easily go on a tangent, but I'll stop it there. 2 nils are considered more likely possibilities for the sinners, which is why they have higher pull rates, whereas 3 nils are less likely. And the way we're going, if you remember Ishmael, we're getting more and more further out there kinds of sinners and IDs. So in a way, it kind of does make sense.
Yeah.
For some, for more IDs to be 3 nils, and I hate to say it because technically this means I'm advocating for it, which I don't want to have happen. But maybe 4 nils, which
that would be very.
I don't like that idea.
That would be totally a thing of all time if they did a 4-star.
A thing of all time, I'm gonna go out immediately and say
I would much rather them upgrade the 2 stars to 3 stars than do that.
I still think your idea of giving Uptie 5 being like an upgrade of 2 nil to 3 nil a great one, which means they could still get their own quote unquote Uptie 5 later. I think that's good. I think that's the closest they should come to it.
That's probably what they should do. But yeah.
Or you know what? They have Uptie 5 or even Uptie 6, knock on wood. But that upgrades them to a 4 nil. But you never pull for a 4 nil. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, if they make 4 stars something that you have to earn instead of pull, yeah, that sounds cool. All right, fuck it, we ball. All right, well, Frey, I guess we'll put a pause for there, and I'll tell you what, we have some left, but we'll just add that to the questions that you guys are going to ask in this version of the video too. Guys, if you want to put your own in the comments, now that we're obviously past Kana 9 and
thank you to the one person who made an entire AMV that shipped Sinclair with Pomni after the last Hot Takes video. that was exactly the energy I envisioned it would have. And I kind of feel bad that I don't have their name from the gate because I just remembered them.
Well, guys, hope you enjoyed. Leave your own hot takes below, and we'll see you later. All right, see you guys.
All right, take care.
Bye.